All units,
prepare to copy.
you're listening to the 911Strong podcast.
Don't act like I never told you.
With Aram and Kristen, bringing you stimulating discussion.
No, I like the sound of that.
An entertaining conversation.
And now, here's Kristen and Aram.
You opened up a whole can of worms.
Yep. Hey guys, welcome to the 911Strong podcast. We thank you for inviting us into your homes, your offices, and on your drive. We know you have a choice to listen to any podcast, and we appreciate you listening to ours and tuning in. With me, as always, is Kristen.
Hey, here again.
And we have a special guest with us, special to me. Maybe not so much to Kristen because she's used to him, but
So.
we have Danny Jauregui with us. Danny is Kristen's other half. They've been married, have 3 kids together, and this is our carpool, guys. We thought this would be a fun episode because we carpool to work, and we have some of the best discussions in our cars, and we're like, why don't we ever record this? Because, well, truth be told, half the stuff we can't really talk about publicly, but that's, I think, how our podcast idea came into fruition, right?
Yes, yeah.
It was more your idea, and it
Of
evolved
course,
to this.
all good ideas come from me.
Yeah, but
He is the idea maker.
without us, it never would have been an idea.
Well, I keep you around because you laugh at everything I say.
True.
Danny's the human laughing sound machine.
Yes.
How do I laugh?
he
Go
has
ahead.
an
Why
inch of
don't
his
you?
teeth laugh.
Why don't
Annoying.
you entertain
Remember that
everybody?
movie Amadeus?
Oh man, here we go.
The real annoying
do
high
not-
pitch. Oh, it'll come out a few
No.
times today.
Just wait and listen. You'll hear it.
Lies.
Well, I thought it was a good idea to bring you both on because it's very rare for people to see the dynamic that Kristen and I have being a dispatcher and police officer, but it's even more rare to see a husband and wife that are police officer and dispatcher. Like, how do you, people ask all the time, do they cut it off when they're at home because you guys are a police officer and dispatcher, husband and wife? Does it turn off when you guys go home?
You want to take it first? Do you want
Well,
me?
not to mention, not only are we in the same field, but we also work for the same agency.
Not only the same agency, but the same team.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the same days.
So people say,
Yeah.
"Hey, don't you get tired of seeing your wife?" I'm like, "Well, I don't see her the entire time. I hear her voice on the radio, so it's a little different. I do go back there and I check up on her if she needs anything. Of course, I'll be the guy doing all the pickups. But yeah, we know how to shut it off.
Yeah.
But it's also
when you say pickup, some of our audience don't know what that means.
Oh, okay.
So go ahead.
Whenever dispatcher's hungry, wants something to drink, they usually will call one of the officers, either by the computer system or text message, and we do pickups for them.
Yeah.
We take care of our dispatchers.
We don't always get to unplug and just go through drive-thrus.
Yeah, and that's a good point because you guys are actually stuck. We call it
Yeah.
the dungeon, but you
Yeah.
guys are actually stuck back there because
Yeah.
it takes a team. There's 3 of you, and it's not like one of you can get up and leave.
Right.
As a matter of fact, if one of you has to get up to use the restroom, the 2 of you are picking up the slack and doing the job of 3,
Yeah.
which I think is remarkable.
Yeah, and some days we just can't take a lunch either. It's so busy that there's no way we can take a lunch or a
Right.
break or anything.
Yeah, I think it's great when you answer the phone, 911, what's your emergency? Sorry, I'm just having my lunch.
I cover my mic when I do that.
Oh, okay. So what is the when you cover your? Is your mic always on, or do you have an on-off switch?
I always have mine's always on.
Okay.
Always
You cover
on. I
it.
just cover it with my finger. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's when we like yell at each other, whatever else is going on,
Or they're laughing too loud.
or we're having a good time, so we like mute it and laugh or whatever. But yeah, if we have something to say, we just cover it.
Okay, and that's to each other.
Yeah, to other dispatchers.
Is it
yeah.
kind of like how we're like right now? We can all hear each other on our monitors, and we have mics. Is that kind of how it is too, or can you not hear each other unless you get on the radio?
What do you mean?
Like if you're communicating to other dispatchers in the room.
Oh no, because our room is small, so
Okay.
we have smaller headsets on than what this is, and then we just voice loudly if we need
They
to.
stand up and they
It's in a
literally
small
just
room.
communicate with each other. I've seen it. It's
How
pretty
does it
effective.
work when you guys are at home? I mean, do you guys use radio codes when you want to speak up, or
It happens.
You guys step on each other's
Especially
radio?
in front of the kids. We will talk cop lingo.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So the
yeah,
kids
so
won't
we
know.
don't let the kids know really what's going on. Our teenager, we kind of let her in on some things just because we want her to know what the world is. We don't want her to live in a bubble.
yeah? Do you think that maybe they pick up on some of the codes, like they've learned it through
Yeah,
over the years?
the oldest one, Chaselyn has.
Yeah, okay.
She knows some of
Not
the
the
codes.
little ones.
The little ones haven't. They don't really care too much.
And they don't eavesdrop either, actually. They're not very interested in what we have to say about work.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to your house, and your kids are like mine. They can care less what we have to say because they're buried in the iPads and video
Exactly.
games.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, their kids and my kids will FaceTime each other while they're playing video games against each other. It's just remarkable.
It's the new
Kids these days.
Yeah.
All technology.
So yeah, so the dynamic at home is obviously different than at work. Do you guys ever, because I work on the same team as you guys, when we have those frustrating days, like we did this past weekend, this weekend rocked us.
It was horrible.
Yeah, it was Labor Day weekend, and it wasn't just our city too.
Yeah.
I mean, we just viewing the news and friends that we've had at other agencies, they said that something was in the air in Southern California, but every agency, no matter how slow or busy that agency was, got rocked.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the other agencies too. You brought up something on our drive the other day of a dispatcher who was 2 weeks away from, or no, she was on her last day.
She was on her last day. She already put in her 2 weeks notice. So I'm sure she was already checked out that way. And it was in Arkansas, and they're having flooding over there. So this one lady calls and expresses that she's stuck in the flood or in the
She was
water
pinned or something, right?
Yeah, she couldn't get out.
She was driving, right?
She was driving, and she got caught and swept up in the flood, and she called for help. And I have never ever heard such a cold, heartless dispatcher in my life. I'm glad that she's not
Try
working.
being on my side of the radio. You'll hear it every day.
Oh,
Just kidding.
we're going to talk about that. Okay.
We get it sometimes. Don't lie.
No, we do. We
We might deserve it. And other times it's uncalled for. That's just my.
I mean, but first, really, Aram, you have to go into the field to hear us.
Hey, we have an understanding. Aram stays in the station, and I'm out on the field.
I'm
I've
in the
already explained
field.
this.
I was hardly in the station this weekend.
You know what? This week, you
No,
probably
this weekend we made you work.
You
Yeah,
answer
that's
more
for sure.
calls than I
Yeah.
think most officers out there
yeah.
because we're tied up.
Yeah, we work for a smaller agency. We have about 130 officers, or at least that's our complement. And due to injuries and people that on leave and stuff, it's hard for a full complement. But we have we're lucky enough at our agency to have minimum staffing. So this weekend, including minimum staffing, we had multiple officers out of the city at, because of transports and whatnot. And it required the sergeant and the corporal to be handling calls more than usual.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if you picked up on it, but I sure did because I was given it. But every time it was like, can you handle another call? And I was like, yes, just give it to me. I mean,
Yeah, but it really doesn't annoy me when you're annoyed about handling calls, because think of how many I have to filter out before I even put them in for you.
that's true.
There is a
for
lot.
every
And I know
call-
it was a hot day. It was just
Oh,
a
yeah.
hot, busy, non-stop day. It was
Yeah.
it was very tiring.
Yeah, it reached triple digits in the LA County area, and it was. I think everybody was testy. It was a longer holiday weekend as well. Kids were going back to school.
Yeah.
Everybody was sick. Parents were sick, and it just made for a testy weekend.
Yeah. It was
Definitely. Every call we cleared, it seemed like 2-3 came in. And almost like
Yeah.
dispatch, you
And
guys
they
need
were
to
all
learn how to
like-
filter some of these calls.
Well,
They were all good calls, though.
No,
they
were.
really
I know.
emergent calls.
And we had everything from a jet plane crash at the airport.
Oh, that
Yes.
could have been fatal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It literally stopped from ending at a major street.
Yeah, it's a miracle that they didn't get hurt or the other people
They
didn't
walked
get hurt.
away with just, I think, a hand injury
Hand and
was
head,
the only.
I think.
So, which made me nervous because next week I'm going to be on comedian Justin Harper's podcast.
No way.
And he does his podcast. He calls it an aircast. You know why?
Oh, jeez.
Because it's in an airplane. His
You
entire
better-
And it's one of those two
You better have a
passenger.
parachute
Yeah.
strapped
Oh,
on.
Increase your
gosh.
life insurance for the family,
Ooh,
would
I got to talk to Liz about that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because I've
Oh,
always wanted to
man.
meet Justin Harper, and I think his podcast is great, or his aircast is great. He's a funny guy, but I'm super nervous about being on an airplane.
Good luck.
I mean,
Better you than us.
yeah.
You're
So
brave.
okay, I'm sorry. This is what happens on our carpool.
We do. We
always
jump
run
around.
on it.
It's like, squirrel.
Okay.
What about this?
So we're talking about that lady in Arkansas.
Yes. So she I'll read some of the comments. I'm sure most people probably heard it if they're following us or something because it was all over the news. But basically this lady was panicking. You can tell. I mean, if you just hear it, you can hear the panic and just fright in her voice.
Yeah.
And regardless of the outcome, she ended up passing away and drowning. Whether it would have helped or not with the units getting there, they had to wait for a boat and it was extended. like she still might have passed, but the way that she handled it, like her her last few moments was just horrible. She's already terrified, and here's this jerk of a dispatcher not comforting her, not offering any help like whatsoever. She's very cold.
Scolding her instead.
Yeah, she kept telling her like oh, and this lady couldn't swim either. So if you're thinking like, well, why couldn't she get out of her car?
Yeah, let's set up the situation, because there's some people that don't know what happened. This woman calls 911 because she's driving in between apartment complexes, and her car gets stuck in a flood.
Yeah.
And the flood water, where her car came to rest, flood waters started rising to the point where it started coming in the door, and it started filling the cabin. And this woman did not know what to do because she panicked because she's not a swimmer. Right. Except for to call 911. Yeah. And you would think that when you call 911, you'd be reaching to someone on the other end that has a calming voice, someone that's going to walk you through it.
Sympathetic.
Right. But instead, what happened?
Yeah. So she just made comments like, I don't know why you're freaking out. It's okay. I know it's high.
Jeez.
She would say, I understand you're freaking out, but you're doing nothing but losing your oxygen up in there. So calm down. She told her, this time it'll teach you not to drive in the water anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And then let's see, there was another one basically that said like, well, there's only so much I can do from sitting here in my chair, so just hold on or whatever.
And this was her last day at work, right?
This is the lady's last day at work. Like, I get it. Like, sometimes you're checked out. Like, I'm checked out because I want to go on vacation. But not like that checked out. Like,
you still have a job to do.
You still have a job to do, and this lady is like terrified of losing her life. Now, I'm sure there was tons of other calls coming in too, but I mean, you know which ones to filter out and which ones you don't, and which ones can be put on hold, and which ones, like, you know, you just tell by people's voices. You don't treat people like that.
Let's play devil's advocate. Because sometimes you get people that call in and joke with you, or they prank calls in. Do you think that she maybe wasn't taking this call seriously?
It didn't sound like she was taking the call seriously, but just hearing the lady's voice, like, it wasn't somebody screwing around with you. It was legitimately someone who didn't know where they were at. And she was on our paper route, and the paper route was flooded, so she took a different route. So that's why she didn't know where she was at. So she was trying to describe it like she was off of one corner. But I mean, she could have told her, like, okay, I'm going to run your latitude and longitude and see if I can get a better location of where you're at. Describe where you are to me, and like try to like just talk her through it. Or I'm sending you help now. I don't even think she mentioned that.
Right.
So it was just like, well, they'll get there when they get there. Like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
Like, try to calm her down. Like, it's not helping the situation. You're being cold and she's frantic and you're making it worse.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough job. I go back there sometimes and see you guys getting, I can see the look of frustration.
Yeah, we do get heated sometimes. I'm not going to lie.
Well, because
we do.
You guys get callers that that know they can take advantage of you, right?
Yes.
And we get a lot of prank calls back there. People, that are, being abducted by aliens and whatnot. And it's like you have to kind of roll your eyes at that, right?
Yeah.
But you guys have a tough job. I definitely couldn't do it.
No way.
I mean,
it's not for everybody. It really isn't.
It really isn't, because I think I'd be the type of guy that would probably lose my cool and say something I shouldn't, end up on the news. Yeah. So you guys have a tremendous amount of patience.
It's hard, and that's why we mute the mic sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, you guys bottle it all up. Throughout your shift. So what happens when you go home? How do you decompress? How does this guy...
Well, like our carpool ride, we vent on the way home. What is nice about having the smaller agency and working with them is that we are able to kind of like debrief and just get it out. And I'm able to find out, hey, what was this chick's deal? Or what was going on? Or what was the real story? And how did it end? So that way I do get closure, which is nice. So not every agency gets that, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I think for the most part, I vent all the way either to or from work. And then once I'm home, it's done because work is now over. I step through my front doors and I'm leaving it.
So you actually switch it off when you walk in?
Yeah. We do. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to think about it when I'm not working.
We have, the 45 minutes hour to just discuss whatever happened at work.
Thanks to LA traffic, we have a good hour to vent. So.
Get it off our chest and hang it up once we walk through the door.
Excellent. Now, what sort of things can't you shut off when you get home?
I guess if it really was like a bad day, I think if maybe like my work ethics attacked or something, that might.
That's true.
Does that happen though?
No, never, ever, never. We don't question our own coworkers.
So people don't
constructive
realize
criticism.
that some people don't realize that even dispatchers have a rank system in there, right? You have a dispatch supervisor, and that dispatch supervisor has a supervisor. Mm-hmm. And so, as we all know, in almost every line of work, crap rolls downhill, right?
Yeah.
And as a dispatcher, if someone's criticizing you, do you take that personally?
She does.
Yeah, I do. I take pride in my work.
Yeah.
So I'm always open for constructive criticism when you come ask me. But it's when they already make the decision, whatever was right or wrong,
To judge you even
and
if we're talking
they're
to you.
already lecturing you on it. It's not just, hey, this is what was brought to me. I listened to the tapes or I listened to the radio. I want to hear your decision or what
Your
your
side.
what your thought process was before we go any further.
Right.
Yeah, and if I was in the wrong, cool. Yeah, I'll take my hits, but hear the whole story. It's like that's what we tell our victims and our callers.
Yeah.
But within, it's like, nope, you're already done because of one opinion.
Then you have me. I just let it roll off my back.
And this guy doesn't care.
I
He's
care.
good about it.
No, I
He's
care.
good about it.
I just, you know what? Roll with the punches. I don't take offense to it. I try to understand where they're coming from. Although no one even cared to get my side of it, I know my side of it, and I'm at peace with that. So
Yeah.
just put it to rest.
No, I think we do a good. I think that's why we complement each other on patrol. Danny and I share supervision duties on our team, and I think that's why we work so good together. Because we've been together now for almost 2.5 years as a supervising duo.
Yeah, we have.
And
Boy, what a journey.
I switch it up every once in a while.
yeah, there was that one time that we call it the dark time when you left me, but it's good to be apart because we do spend a lot of time.
We do.
It makes me scratch my head sometimes. We spend so much time together at work. We spend so much time together off work. Our kids spend so much time together. We go on vacations together, and yet
It's perfect.
it is. What we have is very rare.
It's gonna crash and burn
it
one day.
is
You know
one
that,
day it
right?
will, yeah.
Nothing this good ever lasts.
Yeah, so
forever.
if you tune into the podcast one day to listen to an episode and it's gone, you know what,
I called it.
No, but the podcast is doing really well. I
Yeah.
looked at this morning. So we launched on the 30th. That was when the first episode aired on Apple Podcasts. And so it takes about a week to get all the stats. Well, yesterday I got the first stats, and yesterday I got a message from someone at Apple iTunes or a podcast that said that we were ranked number 1,100 out of all the podcasts in the society and culture genre.
Nice.
Yeah, and there are literally hundreds of thousands. Yeah.
Really? See, I
in
was
that
going to ask
category.
how many are in that category.
There was
1,500?
1,101.
What?
Look at the support of this guy. Jeez.
Of course you have my
But-
Can we mute his mic?
But I can actually. I got the controls right here.
Yeah.
But the other thing that was surprising was I looked back at the stats on September 1st, we came in number 99 in that
man.
day. So out of all the listeners and out of all the podcasts that day, we ranked in the top 100. We were 99. We barely squeaked in.
Wow.
So,
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you
That's
guys so much.
amazing.
You guys totally.
I called it.
We're trending right now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and this morning, right before you guys came in, we were ranked number 537. So
Ooh.
we almost cut our
Yeah.
our ranking in half. So
That's
we're climbing.
awesome. We're doing good.
and that's off of one episode.
Thank you, guys.
One episode.
Well, hopefully I don't ruin it for you guys. By
You
coming on
probably
this.
will. If you do,
It's
you'll
okay,
never be
though.
invited
Danny's
back
our
again.
wobbler over here.
Okay, we lost track a little bit. We're talking about the dynamic between husband and wife, cop, dispatcher. We have multiple versions of you guys at our station.
We do.
We have
We're not the
several
only ones.
dispatchers and officers
do.
that are married and actually have great relationships.
Yeah.
Do you think this can work for everybody? Is this an ideal situation? Do you guys think because you understand each other's jobs, that it helps?
I think so. I think it's, well, I mean, you don't have to work there. I just think that the communication is important. So I don't know if husbands that don't have wives in law enforcement just don't explain their day because they feel like they don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, they're protecting
But-
them, right?
or
Don't
that
want
they're
them to worry.
protecting
Yeah, like my wife, she's a stay-at-home wife. She's never worked in law enforcement, and she doesn't want to, I vent to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary, because you guys understand.
Which is healthy. You need
Right.
to vent about somebody's.
But like Liz
the
doesn't
things
want
we
to
do.
hear it, and I don't want to. Frankly, I don't want to bring it home either.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you guys have that luxury that you can.
I think it helps me tremendously.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I can just understand his frustrations more, and he can understand my frustrations more. And it helps too, because if I get frustrated with whatever you guys are doing out in the field, or if I don't hear from you or get a different response than what I'm expecting, it's nice to be able to be like, hey, so why did you do it this way or that way? And they're able to give me a
Some
reasoning back, you know. And it's good to understand each other's jobs, so we understand why we're doing what we're doing and how we're doing it. So I do think it helps. I think it could work out. I mean, it's been working out great for our dispatch center and our police department with the dispatchers and officers.
And even a few times where we've been really upset at each other, you know, personal stuff, when it's time to go to work, it hasn't affected us. I think we just give each other the space. We do our job. And I don't even think people could tell over the radio, at least I hope not, that we've been kind of bickering. But we're pretty good about turning that off.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, the wife portion turns off, and now we're just work partners at work.
You guys do, both you guys do a really good job of switching it off, because I've been there for the fights.
But then she gives me all the paper calls. If people are smart, when she starts giving me all the paper calls, she's mad at me. She's putting me to work. She's giving me the cluster.
Everything I do is justifiable.
Yeah, and she does it with that sweet voice, and I know it like, oh, man, she's just getting back at me.
Corporal, how do you prepare a copy?
Get that cross report that has 13 victims, or that car accident with 6 cars involved.
All right. Well, let's before we end the show, let's talk about some tips that if you're calling 911, what would you, as a call receiver, appreciate from people calling in?
Oh, first and foremost, when I ask you for your address, give me your address.
Right. What do they give you instead?
They'll give me 1234 California and their zip code. Like, I need a street.
So they
okay. It'll be 1234. I don't know. Podcast Lane.
Well, I've actually.
Is there an apartment there? Oh yeah, an apartment. Okay, how am I supposed to find you if you don't tell me this?
So
stuff?
I've been on the receiving end too, when I've had to work the front desk, and I'll get a call in, and they'll be even worse than that. They'll be like, "I'm in front of the McDonald's." Which McDonald's?
Yeah.
The one on the street.
Yeah.
Very vague.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's almost like a joke.
Oh yeah, yeah. Or I'll be right here on Expectation Road. Okay, well that goes through 3 cities.
Right.
So which?
Well, to play devil's advocate, some of these callers you have to remember, it's probably the first time they've ever called.
Yeah.
Whatever they just saw witness is very shocking to them.
Sure.
So I think they're kind of having brain farts, and we have to walk them through it.
Well, you're able to tell. I'm saying if it's just for an abandoned vehicle in front of their house, and like, it's been here for 12 days. Well, what does the car look? I don't know. I'm sorry. It's been there for 12 days. You don't know your own house address? Like, pull out a piece of mail then or something. I know if it's like a high critical event, we know when they're freaking out. But then we say, okay, look around at the buildings next to you. What do you see? Okay, so you can pay attention to that. Or guess what? If they can't, they'll be like, okay, what business is near you? And if we can't find the address, go inside the business and ask somebody what the address is.
Right, because you guys know the city.
For the most part, yeah.
So because there are going to be instances where they're not going to be within eyesight of a street name or address, right? So so describe your area, and you can probably pick that up, right?
Yeah, and for the most part with 911 now, I mean, pretty much everybody has cell phones, not really landlines anymore. So we get the latitude and longitude, and then we're able to check from that, and it gives us about a meter range of where they're at, so we can kind of pinpoint where they are. So if anything, we can still send them to that general area and look for them.
Okay, so know your address, know your location.
Your address.
What else?
Tell us what is going on right that moment, not what happened 2 years ago to your brother's, sister's, dog's, owner's friend.
People actually, because I get that, because they want to talk to a sergeant after talking to a dispatcher. They get frustrated that they weren't able to tell you their whole backstory.
Yeah.
But they want to know, you want to know where to send the officer, because as the call is coming in, they're actually dispatching officers, and they want to know what they're sending them into. It's not like we receive the entire call, contemplate it a little bit, and then dispatch the officer.
Right. And they have to understand, like, we're asking questions just to get that specific answer only, because, like, at least for our department, there's maybe during my shift 2 to 3 people working, maybe 4, but we're answering for the entire city.
Right.
So we want the information, only the information we're asking for right then and there. We're not trying to be cold or callous, but we need to get moving because we have all these other lines lighting up too.
It's not just the city. You get call transfers from CHP, from fire department.
Yes.
And you're also doing the same thing.
You get us calling in-house, asking questions, running people.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
So, it's a lot of work that you guys do.
There's a lot of multitasking that isn't seen, and, the caller only thinks it's just them that moment.
Right. So you guys have a very important job. I mean, in California, you're not designated as first responders.
No.
But in Texas,
Yes. That just passed on the 1st.
Awesome.
I'm so excited for them.
Yeah.
So we have a bill going, which I haven't heard if it's passed yet or not, but definitely in Texas. So hopefully California picks up the pace and
yeah, you guys
follows.
absolutely deserve that. I think nurses are also in line to
That'd
try
be
to get
good.
that designation as well.
Yeah.
So very good. Anything else that callers should know about?
Don't argue with us.
Yeah.
We're trying to do our job just like you wouldn't want us to tell you how to do your job.
Yeah, I think
We're
that
pretty
goes
well
without
trained.
saying.
Yeah.
I mean, if more people would just talk without arguing in general, not just a 911 call, but
Yeah.
if people are just having a conversation and they can understand that you're not going to agree, and
Yeah.
just agree to not to disagree, I think this world will be a lot better place.
Completely. Yeah.
Well, Danny, this one before we went on, Danny was like, "I'm not doing this.
I'm not good at this. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the camera.
I think you did just fine.
He
No.
did fine.
Yeah.
I struggle with this. I'm learning from you guys, but no, this is not my thing.
All right. Well, if people want to follow Danny, where can they follow you on social media?
Tactical churro. Oh, and we have to
Tactical underscore churro.
Yeah, you can follow Danny at
And I did not come up with
underscore
that name.
churro.
I like to take out the credit for it. I think it's a pretty funny and clever name.
Yeah, it
but
is. It's a very clever name.
Of course, you would say that.
Going back to ideas.
So Aaron,
well,
of course.
Danny wanted to start his Instagram, and we're like,
Oh no, let's get this. Kristen was the one pushing me to start one. I wasn't.
Was that
really,
how it was?
Yeah, I think it was. It's like, hey, how about
I
you start
was
a page?
pushing him. He didn't want to, and then we wanted to come up
that's
with
weird
the
because
name.
most wives don't want their husbands on Instagram.
Well, he was always on it through my stuff.
That
Like,
is
just start
true.
your own.
I see what it is. You're just getting them off of yours.
Yes, exactly.
She's smart. Huh, okay, now I see what's going on. here.
Anyways, we're like, what kind of name? Danny's even wearing his Winnie the Pooh shirt because that's what Danny is. Danny's a big tactical guy. He's on the SWAT team. He's a
Love
sniper.
it.
He loves his tactical stuff, but he's also tall, brown, and sweet, like a churro. So he's the tactical churro.
That was a good name.
And messy, like a churro.
Yeah. You know, oh man, that's the one thing we didn't have.
You just thought of that.
I did.
Our churros messy.
They
Yeah, of
are
course they
messy.
They get
They get everywhere.
No, you guys just don't know how to eat them. You know, my youngest, Cora, she's 7 years old. It's a waste of money to buy her churro because she literally eats. She doesn't eat the churro. She licks the salt, the cinnamon and sugar off,
And
Yeah.
gives it to
and what's
you.
left is a soggy the churro.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's like, oh, let's toss that. All right, guys. I think that ends our show today. Next show we've got. Oh, that's right. You're gonna bring up your books.
Yes. So I know we mentioned last week we're going to do a giveaway if you guys give us a 5-star review and put some comments in there
Yep.
on the Apple iTunes.
And download.
And download it.
Yeah.
Sorry. So download, star, and review.
Yep.
And if you guys do that, we're going to keep track of it. And then at the end of our 4-week mark,
Mm-hmm.
we are going to do a giveaway. We'll announce it on here. I'm sure we'll probably announce on Instagram also. But in addition to that, we're going to add in the book Emotional Survival for Law Enforcement,
Yep.
Good book.
which is a really excellent book.
Accident.
Excellent. There I go stuttering again. I'm sorry. That's what I do. And then we also got this book, The Resilient 911 Professional, and it was given to us by Ryan Dedmond. And he used to be a dispatcher. He doesn't do dispatching anymore. He does classes through Post, and he's with the 911 Training Institute. So
Right.
he gave us this book to give away also, and he signed it, and Aram and I will sign it as well.
Yep.
So that will be added to our giveaway.
And this mug also. It
This is my new briefing coffee.
Isn't
mug.
this
911
nice?
podcast logo on there. And we're also going to throw in hot off the presses. If you're a guy, you're going to get this t-shirt. It's the 911Strong podcast with Aram and Kristen logo. And if you're a female,
It's not.
oh, it's not there.
I do have one for the female, and it's a crop top, black one.
If it's a female, you get nothing.
You ladies, I'll take care of you. I
But this
promise.
shirt is one of the premium blend shirts, the fitted stuff.
It's
I
so
love it.
nice.
It's very nice, and it's not silk screened. It's that new heat overlay, the vinyl overlay, so it doesn't fade or come apart
Yeah.
in the wash. So I'm really
Looks
excited.
really
about
good.
this. We hooked up with Amanda from Magical Designs, and she did all our stuff for us. And
work.
we'll be announcing really soon on our website 911strong.com links to get to her Etsy store So you can get custom, not only our logo stuff, but you can get your stuff customized too. So
She
we'll
does
have
a really good job.
Yeah, we'll have vacuum sealed mugs as well, and a bunch of other cool accessories. Also, one more thing I wanted to bring up: September 28th, Kristen and I will be at ProForce Law Enforcement in Brea, California, and we'll be guests on the Squad Room podcast with Garrett Tesla. And we'll be doing some giveaways over there as well. ProForce is going to be giving away a Beretta, I believe, some sort of. They're going to be giving away a firearm, and we're also going to be giving away some wristbands, some 911 Strong podcast wristbands for the first 300 guests that come to our booth and say hello. And it's going to be a live podcast taping, so that's going to be kind of neat for you guys to be a part of. So we had a lot of cool things coming up.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
it's been an exciting month. Yeah,
absolutely. Hopefully. By then, we can announce that we're in the top 10.
Let's do it, guys. Help us out.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. We want to thank you again. We know you have your choice of any podcast that you can listen to. So thanks for inviting us into your homes, your office, and on your drive. And continue to show us some support by giving us 5 stars, subscribing, and downloading those podcast episodes, and share us with friends. And just to recap, where can they follow you on social media? I think you fluffed last time.
I did. It's Dispatcher Kristen.
Yeah, on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, on Instagram and on Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Danny's the tactical_Choe with 2 R's. And of course, yours truly is at 911 Strong. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Truly appreciate it. Bye.